Hi, and welcome to Cover Brand, where we cover all things branding, marketing, and advertising to help you understand what the hell branding is and how it works to grow your business. Welcome and welcome back to Cover Brand. I'm Ethan Decker, and today with me is outstanding marketing and demand gen leader, innovative brand builder, and someone who bears a striking resemblance to my sleep paralysis demon, Laura Dodds. Hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you. I actually take that as a compliment. Thank you so much, Ethan.
Yes, I
Really
have
kind
a
of you to say.
very special relationship with that sleep paralysis demon. So yeah, it
Mhm.
means a lot to them too.
Yes. If we could
Well,
collab, that'd be great.
yes, today we're going to talk about episode 5 of On Brand with Jimmy Fallon, Captain Morgan.
With Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, actually.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's a very Jimmy show.
yes, very double the Jimmys.
Double the
Um,
Jimmys.
so quick thoughts. What was your big takeaway from this episode? How are you
Oh,
feeling?
we're going right to the TLDR.
The TLDR.
Well, I mean, the big TLDR is it's a terrible assignment to get to create something viral for the Super Bowl. Like those are the two things you just don't want to combine in one disgusting brief.
I also thought that this was a really incredibly difficult challenge.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to go over everything that made it so complicated.
It's like the anti peanut butter and chocolate. It's like, I don't know, poop and vomit together in a candy wrapper. Sorry, in a bottle of alcohol. That's what it is.
And why didn't they go with that for their briefs, honestly? Well, I don't
Yeah.
know why that wasn't in the initial pitch, but
Well, we got close to it because the initial pitch was come up with a Super Bowl idea, not the pitch, the brief was come up with a Super Bowl idea um, that would go viral, right?
not
Essentially.
only that, but it was create a campaign that was going to be part of Captain Morgan's Super Bowl brief
Yeah.
that will raise awareness with 21 to 29-year-olds and be stunty
Mhm.
9 months from now.
Yeah.
Make something go viral 9 months from now,
Yeah.
which is so antithetical to the idea of virality.
Yeah.
Virality just doesn't work like that anymore. And so that was tough.
Yeah. I mean, it was really 6, 7, but let's talk about research. Okay. We got to talk
Okay.
research. We have to talk with this
Please,
is
can we please talk research?
let's get geeky. Let's do some brand science on the brief itself because the brief was something like Captain Morgan used to have 90% awareness. It's not resonating with 21 to 29-year-old consumers. Um, and so as I think someone said towards the end, I don't even know if these kids watch commercials or watch TV. Like, let's just start with the audience. What do we know about this audience? We know, first of all, they don't drink a lot of rum. They drink vodka
Mm-hmm.
and then they drink, well, tequila's having its moment, but vodka like outsells rum, I want to say 20-1 in America, or maybe 10-1. Anyway, it's a large margin. Um, and so rum already is not a drink of choice. Secondly, people are sobering up, right? I don't know. Did you
Yeah.
do dry January or um,
Well, here's going to be the common thread for me during this podcast is I don't really drink much at all. One, maybe two drinks a month. Now, I am not in the 21 to 29
mhm,
demographic, um, but I've just never been a huge drinker either. And
yeah,
so for me, it was hard to relate to the brand when working on my 2 minute to win it pitch and knowing the ins and outs because I just don't, I'm not a huge consumer of alcohol. And
yeah.
so,
Yeah, this is where really good understanding of your audience would help a lot in
yes.
two big pieces. One is how do you get that group, and do they really matter, by the way, Or are we looking at 40, 50, and 60-year-olds who might be drinking more because they're the sandwich generation, and dealing with a whole lot of other baggage and whatnot? Not speaking from personal experience, not at all. But nonetheless, who are we going after? What do they really care about? What's going on in their life? So if we're trying to sell Captain Morgan, we need to know about overall alcohol consumption, and it is down. More people are doing dry January or sober October or whatever you want to call it. More people are consuming less in general. All those Fitbit trackers and Apple Watches are telling people they should cut back on alcohol because it screws up your.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so rum is not having its moment, and
Yeah.
and the young people are not going out, hanging out together, partying and getting drunk. They're staying home, they're alone, or they're texting their friends, or they've got their friends on their phone while they're co-watching some Netflix series together. It's a very different world. So
Now, I do want to say, I don't want to discount the challenges that the 21 to 29-year-olds have had. They've had a very rough go of it as well. But
true,
I think the life things that have happened have led to more social isolation as well as being more, I don't want to say thoughtful about the consumption, but it just, they don't drink.
right,
And when they do
right,
drink, they're more likely to get a pre canned liquor of something, a mixed drink in a can. Seltzers are really big,
true.
things of
Yep,
that nature.
seltzers have
So,
boomed. Yeah, pre-mixed cocktails have boomed. So it really would behoove the client and the creatives, the teams, to do a little more research on this, on the consumption and consumer side. Secondly, and again, we heard this at least once, it would behoove them to do some research on the media side, because it isn't clear that 21 to 29-year-olds will be watching the big game and
yeah,
soaking up all of the commercials or the commercial activity around the Super Bowl. It might be completely disconnected.
exactly. I was doing a little bit of research into, how big the NFL and the Super Bowl is for that age demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that the research was showing was that these people are more likely to interact with players on a personal level, on a one on one level. So there's, these famous TikTok wives and girlfriends that have really allowed people to connect personally one
Mm-hmm.
on one or have that parasocial relationship with Allison Kutch's husband
Mm-hmm.
or these
Taylor
other
Swift's
players.
boyfriend,
Taylor Swift's
fiance,
boyfriend.
husband. I forget which one it is.
Right now it's fiance, but by the time this
Fiance.
episode drops, who knows?
That's right.
So people are more interested in the human side behind football and the
Yep.
human stories. And this generation is engaging with that versus engaging with, I got to sit down on Sunday and watch every single game, and I've got my
Yep.
fantasy football league, and the Super Bowl is something I'm really excited for, and I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to a party and all of that. That's more of an older generation. So for this campaign that has to focus on the 20s,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's a little bit challenging. They're still
Yeah.
engaging with football, but in a completely different way.
And agreed. I mean, Super Bowl and NFL are still two of the biggest moments and things in the world. Honestly, the Super Bowl itself is immensely watched by tons of ages now around the world, and the NFL I think is still the most valuable um, individual league in the world. So they're not wrong to look for big moments like this,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a mismatch. Fundamentally, I think we're saying there's a little bit of a mismatch between the brief, well, between chunks of the brief. Are we going after young people, or are we looking for a big Super Bowl opportunity? Because if you want a Super Bowl opportunity, maybe you should go after a broader and maybe older group. And if you're looking to go after the young folks, maybe it's not a Super Bowl activity or idea.
That being said, we have seen the NFL try and go a little bit younger,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to the halftime show. This
True.
year, there is the semi-controversial election of Bad Bunny to run the Super Bowl, or to be the halftime performance, which I do think does appeal to a younger crowd.
Yep.
But so there's that bend that we're seeing, trying to get younger viewers interested and more engaged. But
Yeah.
it really it's going to be interesting to see how that translates.
Yeah.
And one thing about this is that we don't actually get to see the full campaign yet.
Right.
Normally, we get to see, oh, Bianca going and trying the evolution of the campaign or
That's
whatever that
right.
is.
Her new
We're
drink.
going to have to wait months.
Yes. Although they claim they're going to launch it early. But all this is to say, if you're on the client side, do your research, make sure your brief makes sense, make sure that that you don't have weird, deep inconsistencies within your brief itself, and make sure that you're giving your teams, um, uh, you're setting your teams up for success. I mean, in this case, the 2 hours, the 4 hours, whatever they really have or not, because maybe they were briefed, a week before the episode was shot anyway. That's a little crazy, but a good Super Bowl idea can take months and months and months to figure out it all and then pull off. So they're not wrong to start this early, but yeah, it's a challenge. And then if
Now, oh, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, I do agree with one thing that was said at the beginning of the episode, that getting a Super Bowl spot is like the dream for marketers. Just
yes,
a couple of weekends ago, I was at a wedding. I was drinking a rum drink, and I met a new friend who is a marketer who just
mm-hmm.
got hired at a company that does Super Bowl ads. And we were all just very excited for her and like, oh my gosh, you're going to get to do a Super Bowl ad. That's so exciting. That's the dream.
Yeah.
So there is still something, at least for marketers, a lot of joy and excitement about being a part of something so big.
Yep, there is absolutely, and it's on both sides there, on the client side and on the agency side, for sure. Anyone involved in the Super Bowl spot gets excited about it. Absolutely. So to backtrack just a touch, Captain Morgan's the client, which is owned by Diageo, which is one of the largest drink owners in the world. They own like 200 different brands of stuff,
Oh, wow.
including Bailey's, Tanqueray, Guinness, Smirnoff, Johnny Walker. So they're a conglomerate. And Captain Morgan is one of their key brands, and they want to boost Captain Morgan sales. The client is Camille Hemming. She's a senior brand manager over Captain Morgan at Diageo. She had a gorgeous red outfit, by the way. I loved that outfit. And she's been with Diageo for like 9 years. So again, someone who's an insider who knows the brand really well, which I think is clutch. And then this impossible assignment.
Impossible. I go
Yeah.
viral in 10 months. Ethan, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Just go
viral
viral. Just go viral in 10 months.
and make us big.
10
So
months from now, go viral, please.
yeah. So then in this case, in terms of the mechanics, they didn't have individuals pitch an idea and then draft teams. They actually had Bose and Jimmy pick the teams, right? And
Yes.
I think
Yes.
they
The teams
intentionally put Ryan and Bianca on the same team
100%. I think
so
they
they could see
really
some
like that
fireworks.
dynamic
Oh yeah, they
of
wanted some
them
drama.
just butting heads.
Yeah. So far, everyone's been like, "You're my best friends. I want to work with my best friends. You're my besties. Everyone's my bestie." It doesn't make for great classic reality TV, right?
It did get a little spicy this week.
It did.
To
Spicy,
pair
well
with
played.
the official spiced rum of the NFL, Captain Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So I think we'll skip some of the early ideas, but it was interesting, yeah, to see the teams try and pitch each other, try and collaborate. There was some really poor teamwork, and
mm-hmm.
and frankly, teamwork is hard. Collaboration is hard, and the teams that do come together for great assignments, it's usually one of those magical moments, like having a great team that comes together to win a Super Bowl itself. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes they're at each other's throats, but also usually somehow there's some great chemistry that's happening, and they're not quite sure why.
One thing that stood out to me was, we talked last week about seeing Sabrina shine in something that she was really comfortable with. This week we saw Elijah shine, who he's been really struggling, but to see him shine was really cool. Unfortunately, because he has struggled a little bit, his team members didn't seem like they had a lot of respect for him, even though he definitely was the authority on shooting the video.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was
um,
nice to see him doing great, but I wanted them to listen to him a little bit more as they were trying to prepare this.
yes. There were some funny slash sad moments when he was basically saying, "No one's listening to me. It's the story of my life."
Oh, Elijah, we're
Yeah,
listening.
yeah. But
All right.
people finally did capitulate to him. You're right. So, okay. So we had two teams, ultimately Team Mustache and Team Freeze, I think it was.
Yes.
And Team Freeze was, let's see here. Um, who was on that team? Ajel, Lauren, Mahari, and Elijah. And they were doing a little dance that ended in freezing with the pose with Captain Morgan and his knee up, right?
Yes. Now, what's interesting, and we can go over this in a little bit, but you have sort of devised a point system of your own to see how everyone is doing. And Team Freeze was Mihiri, who by your ranking is in third, and
Mm-hmm.
then Lauren, Rachel, and Elijah, who are in seventh. Oh, yes, sixth, seventh, and eighth. And then on the other hand, we have Bianca, Ryan, first and second, Sabrina, and Piper, fourth and fifth. So kind of unbalanced teams
This
just
is
based
true.
off of this point total.
Yeah, and for those not watching along because we're not showing anything, basically we created a standings board, much like in soccer, let's say, where each team gets awarded a certain number of points for a win. In this case, you get 10 points if you're the winner for being on the team. And in this case, you get, I forget, like 5 points here. I guess I'll show it on the stream here, and I can change up my look. I think I can do that. Here we go. Here we go. Now, if you're watching, you can actually see the scoreboard. So you have total number of points per person, and the points are determined. You get 10 points for each win. You get 5 points if you make it to the finals, and you get 1 point if you're on a team that wins. And then, of course, you get negative 50 points if you're eliminated. And so you combine all those things. And right now, Bianca is at the top with 30 points total. Ryan is next with 26 points. Mahari is third with 21 points. Sabrina is fourth with 17. Piper's got 13. Lauren's got 7. Rogel's got 2. Elijah's got 1. And of course, Raj and BT are in the very deep negatives.
And now this is not any official point total. This is a system that Ethan came up with, but I do think it helps quantify a little bit where everybody stands based off of the teams they've been on and their performance.
Ho, ho,
So
ho, ho, ho.
when we look at the teams from this week, again, we've got Bianca, Orion, Sabrina, and Piper. Those are 4 of the top 5, and then we have Mahiri and the bottom 3, or Mahari and the bottom 3. So,
Yep. Yeah. A little
take it with
unfair.
a grain of salt, but it does feel a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, a little uneven. So, and that I think showed up a little bit in how things played out.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um,
So we had the
let's
freeze thing on one side.
let's start with Team Freeze's pitch.
Okay.
So Team Freeze, which honestly it was painful to watch. Mahari try and come up with a viral TikTok dance.
Yep.
It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Yeah.
And it felt very, oh, you want a stunty video to go viral? All right, I'll make a dance. There wasn't much creativity there. The dance, up until the very last step, wasn't very related to the brand.
Nope. Just
It
the freeze thing at the end.
it was just a freeze, stand like Captain Morgan, with your left leg up like it's on a barrel, which, by the way, none of them had the core strength to even do. I don't either, mind
Yep.
you. Um,
Yep. But
but
it did showcase a couple, and this makes me wonder how much of this did they really plan and strategize far ahead? Because it turns out Agel is a former dancer, so she could actually choreograph this darn thing. And Elijah does have like a degree in film. And so
mm-hmm.
he did take over the filming of it and really made sure they got their shots and really made sure it was the best film possible. So they did get to showcase that.
Now, I'm no TikTok dance expert, okay? So take all of this with a massive grain of salt. But a lot of the TikTok dances are a lot of upper body movement and not as
Mm-hmm.
much like a grapevine and a dig. Like, it's not lower
Mm-hmm.
body. And so even
Yeah.
just the quality of the dance that they were doing didn't feel very true to TikTok.
Well, let's be clear. A lot of TikTok viral dances are like 16 and 17-year-old girls being cute
Yes.
and then sexy and then cute and then cute and then cute and then sexy and then cute and then cute. So, like, they're missing the entire base conceit of a
Mm-hmm.
TikTok viral dance.
Yes. And that was, I think, what really struck me about the freeze was that this team didn't really, it was Mahari's initial idea that they went
Mm-hmm.
behind, and I just feel like they didn't really understand the 21 to 29-year-old consumer as a whole.
Yeah. So that was an interesting team. And then on the other side, you had Team Mustache. You want to
Yeah.
They had fireworks, as you said. It got a little spicy. Nice double entendre there. Of course, with Ryan and Bianca on the same team, they both had ideas that they wanted to push. They both made fun of each other's ideas, and then of course the client Camille basically said, "Great, can you combine them?" Which is classic.
Now, I have tried to be, how do I say, non-controversial, just I haven't made any strong opinions about this one should have been picked. Of course, I have the honorable mention each
Mm-hmm.
episode, but
Mm-hmm.
Brian's Find Your Hat was stronger
Mm.
than the spicy hot takes that Bianca was bringing in, earning your stash and all of that.
Because in the beginning, the difference was Bianca's idea was somehow you have a spicy take slash hot take, and that earns you a mustache or something, or earns you someone
Yes.
screaming, and then, or not screaming, but someone giving you a mustache. And then Ryan's initial idea was you grab anything on the table, a coaster,
Mm-hmm.
a baby, a bouquet of flowers, and then you stick it on your head and you scream Captain. And then everyone else has to scramble and grab something to stick on their head and scream Morgan back to you.
And I think so with Ryan's, I think he could have pushed it a little bit more and say, if you're the last person to get something on your head, then you have, maybe it's like an icing challenge where you have to get on one, lift your leg and finish your Captain Morgan drink or something, or hit the Captain Morgan pose. Let's combine all of them while we're at it.
Right.
Hit the
Right.
Captain Morgan pose and finish your drink, or buy the next round, or something like that. Versus Bianca's, where you say a hot take, and then so it was. I think that Ryan's was
Yeah.
better, Captain, and then
Morgan. And
Morgan,
keep it
and then
simple,
we all drink.
right? Keep it really simple. Yeah, it started to get complex when they combined them. And if we look back at one of the stronger alcohol campaigns of the past 15 years, it was simple to the point of being absurd. Dilly dilly.
Dilly
Dilly
dilly.
dilly. What does it mean? Nothing. When do you do it? Whenever the hell you want. Why do you do it? Who the hell knows? Like,
Yeah.
in fact, it showed up as calls by the quarterback. I think it was Peyton Manning himself who did a dilly dilly call at the line of scrimmage for a play. And so, like, yeah, keep it simple. It has to be simple. And so here it started to get a little complex when they combined your spicy take on something with the Marco Polo call and response Captain Morgan thing. But anyway,
And then
we ended up
drawing on your face,
on
drawing
top of
a
it.
mustache and a goatee, which the captain does not have a goatee. And you
Yep.
have to do it in lipstick because that's going to be the only thing available. And
Yep. Okay, we've a couple times hinted about the demographics of this group. We've talked about demos when it comes to this target, but there was a really spicy moment during the pitch battle. We are so out of sequence today. Doesn't matter.
that's all
Screw it.
right.
There was a spicy moment when Mahari was trying to take down the other team and say it's just not going to be any good. And he can't imagine his wife wanting to paint something on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan's like, yeah, he's 39. And Bianca's like, yeah, he's outside of our target demo. And Mahari's like, whoa, rude. But duh, he is. He's outside
Yeah.
of the demo. He's outside of the target. And yeah, Bianca's like, duh, I'm in the target and I've got this lipstick on my face. I would do it because I'm the target. Now, you shouldn't always assume that you're the target. But in this case, it was a very funny moment, and there was some truth to it for sure. That Mahari he knew it. He felt out of touch. He's like, I don't know what these kids do. I don't know what they watch. So yeah, that was fun.
Here was
And
my question about the Earn Your Stash campaign. And that my question is the Captain Morgan mustache that iconic?
well, this is another great moment for brand science.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about brand assets or brand equities or iconic assets or whatever you want to call them, brand elements. These are things like your logo, your name, your sound, the shape of your box or bottle that can be unique and ownable and distinctive to you. Sometimes they work in isolation and individually. For instance, the Absolute bottle for Absolute vodka is itself very iconic or very distinctive and fairly ownable and owned by Absolute. Sometimes they work in conjunction. For instance, the color red means a lot of different things in marketing. But if you're in the cracker aisle, you look down that aisle and you see a red box, it's Cheez-It. And Cheez-It owns the color red in the cracker aisle. So in context, and
See,
especially with that square thingy, well, it's the square Cheez-It cracker in the middle of the box, that instantly tells you you have found the cracker aisle and you're staring at Cheez-Its, which dominate a big chunk of the aisle. So
now I
yeah,
am just one person, okay?
today.
Despite the allegations, I am just one person. When you said red box cracker aisle, all I thought of was Ritz. And
Okay.
we don't have any Ritz in our home. We do have Cheez Its in our home. But so I'm consuming Cheez Its and purchasing them more frequently. But when I heard red box and cracker, I thought
You went to Ritz.
Ritz.
Okay.
I went to
Yeah.
Ritz.
Well,
So
this gets us to this question of how distinctive and how ownable or unique are your brand assets? And you can measure these. It's hard because you're measuring the stuff between people's ears, which is always hard to measure. And then which people are you measuring and how are you measuring it? But you do want to at least get out there and have some sense of which of these brand elements are actually ownable and are actually famous. And usually it's a lot less than you think. For
Hmm.
instance, Rice Krispies and Rice Krispie treats, the treat itself is fairly famous. That block of coagulated Rice Krispies covered in what corn syrup or whatever it is, marshmallow,
Marshmallows.
marshmallow, and
Hello.
and then Snap, Crackle, and Pop. The characters are very distinctive and they're very famous. So if you have a brand, you should first of all assume that most people don't know most of your distinctive elements. And secondly, you should go out and try and measure how distinctive and famous and ownable your elements really are. So, to Captain Morgan's case, you would hopefully Diageo would go out and Camille would hire someone to go measure the distinctive and ownable assets of Captain Morgan to see, is it the whole captain? Is it the barrel and the knee up pose? Is it the tricorn hat? Whatever
Tricorner.
it's called.
Tricorner, I
A
think.
tricorner. Um,
Yeah.
is it the logo itself? Is it the shape of the bottle? Um, for instance, Diageo's very famous to other children. Johnny Walker and Guinness have done amazingly well at understanding which of their assets are famous and using the crap out of them over and over and over. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So the answer to my question is the mustache recognizable? Maybe.
Maybe.
Uh, maybe.
Go measure.
Who knows?
Go
Go
measure.
measure.
And then on the
And
other hand, if it's got a lot of potential, use it.
mm-hmm,
Maybe they make it
that's true.
famous.
They could make it famous, and we'll see if that works because that seems to be skipping all the way to the end.
Yeah. Tune in 10
The
years from now when we find out if the goatee and mustache is finally famous.
10 years in TikTok time for sure.
Well, that's true.
The winning team was Earn Your Stash.
Mm-hmm.
And when we saw them seeing the whole campaign, that the team was brought back to New York to see the evolution of the campaign. And they said, we're going to run this all NFL season up into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Really, all that stuck was the fact that it was surrounding the mustache.
Yeah. Yeah. The spicy hot takes, we'll see if that lives or not. And again, there's a lot of time between now and when they start this campaign and then the Super Bowl itself. So absolutely things could evolve and change. They had a couple other ideas thrown in there. They had a game day gauntlet somehow, captain challenges with trivia. They had, well, even during the development of it, Jimmy and Bose came up with the extension. Instead of actually painting a mustache and
Mm-hmm.
goatee on your face with lipstick, what if they did a filter
Yes.
or a lens? That one's easy.
And that leads to more user generated content, which is what
Yep.
really lends to something being viral, or as they have rebranded virality into stunty, which was
Mm-hmm.
said quite a few times.
Yeah.
UGC really drives virality. And so that's a
Maybe
great addition.
maybe that's an old school term, but I love the concept of a stunt. And you do a good, interesting, fun stunt, and people talk about it. They buzz about it. And PR, sometimes some people in the PR world bristle at the idea of PR stunts because it feels
Mm-hmm.
belittling. But a great stunt is fantastic and it gets you attention and it helps your brand become a little more famous, which is the goal. Um, I did also want to say, when it comes to ideas themselves, there was a really interesting and telling reason why I think Team Mustache won and the mustache
Okay.
idea won, which is Camille and Jimmy and Bose could start imagining other ideas spin off of
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah.
And this is a great sign that you're onto what some people would call a big idea. Because a big idea isn't just one tactic, isn't just one execution. It's a thing that's got legs. And that's, again, very technical term that I use. An idea with legs is one where you just keep coming up with new thoughts and new ideas. Oh, we could do a mustache filter in social. We could do an earn your stash challenge at the beginning when people walk in. Another one of the ideas that I just caught a glimmer of on the TV when they were in the Diageo offices was a stash cam in stadium, so that
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
panned to people in the audience instead of a kiss cam, they would actually put mustaches on them through the
Hmm.
magic of in camera CGI, something like that. But yeah, the idea had legs. And a good campaign has legs. A good campaign keeps giving, and more thoughts come out of it.
One thing that I think put me off to the stash campaign, or maybe not put me off, but it's a maybe a pink flag, not quite a red flag, but a pink flag. I feel like there's nothing that Gen Z loves more than to make fun of millennials and how
Mm-hmm.
cringe they are. And one thing that is crucial to the millennial experience is the mustache. I mean, there are out there in your workplace,
Yeah.
there are millennial men and women with the mustache tattooed on their inner finger. I mean, it's probably faded pretty well by now, but
Uh-huh.
getting a mustache tattooed on your inner finger so you hold it up to your mouth and you have a stash, mustache socks. Everything had mustaches on it. I don't know why. It was part of the quirky girl aesthetic for a while.
Yeah.
The manic pixie dream girl. It was huge. Everybody had a phase where mustaches were funny and ironic,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like so crucial to the millennial experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so building a campaign on the foundation of mustaches, this is the most embarrassing thing I've ever said in my life. But building a campaign on mustaches for people that make fun of millennials for having a mustache phase is tenuous for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. But there is something there. And again, when it comes to targeting, maybe this is a killer campaign, just not for 20 to 29 year
yes,
olds. Maybe it would be
maybe,
great for 30 to 90 year olds, which,
yeah.
by the way, they probably drink a lot of rum. So it might work just fine. It just might not get you those 20 year olds, those 20 somethings.
21 year olds,
Yeah.
21
21
to
somethings.
29-year-olds,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and not a day before.
Yeah. We know 20 year olds don't drink alcohol ever.
Never. That would be
So,
illegal.
yeah. So yeah, we had a couple of really interesting brand science things we touched on today. One being the
Mhm.
market research that goes into a good brief and good ideas. Two is having a brief that actually doesn't have internal inconsistencies and paradoxes. A third is this notion of brand equities and brand assets and what is iconic. And if you don't have anything, how do you make something iconic and how much time does it take to really do that? Which means be consistent with what you do. So if, yeah, you wear an orange jacket a lot, don't ever take it off, not even when you sleep. And then fourth, this idea of ideas having legs, and a good campaign has legs and it has space for lots of activations and lots of executions so that the campaign has time to take hold in culture. And all this stuff takes time. I guess, Laura, that's a final piece is um, good marketing. Sometimes it's kind of instant and kind of viral, but great marketing takes time because it builds equity, it builds in people's brains, it builds in culture, it builds on the shelf. And a lot of marketers don't give good ideas enough time to reap the proper rewards from them,
I like it. I
which
like
means
it.
it's time for our final two segments.
Well, actually, I'm
Oh God,
adding
there's
in,
more.
well, just one bonus segment. I don't have
Oh,
an honorable mention
okay.
within the pitches this week because it was so challenging and they were working as teams. My honorable mention goes to an ad I saw while watching this show during the commercial breaks, and that is for KitchenAid. They are running a campaign promoting their
Mm,
other KitchenAid appliances, and I am hooked. It starts off with the iconic KitchenAid mixer on your kitchen counter. Oh, look how beautiful it is. It's a work of art.
yep.
It's stunning. What if the rest of your kitchen matched that? And then it shows all of the other KitchenAid appliances you can get that are a part of this family. And I loved that because truly, I mean, I have a KitchenAid mixer. I love it. It is on my counter. It is a work of art. It
Takes up
stays
that
out,
expensive real estate on your kitchen counter.
and I don't care. I love it. I'm obsessed. And so I liked that campaign because I felt like KitchenAid really got to the heart of what people feel about their mixers. And then the idea of, well, what if you took that feeling for all of your appliances? I was like, I'm sold. Give me the whole set. Let's line them all up. So that's my honorable mention for this week.
Very nice.
Now it's time for the one and only official Ethan Decker Award for Premium Stickiness of the Week. The award, which is awarded to the campaign or idea that we'll continue to think about until, at the very least, tomorrow, maybe even the next day.
Maybe, maybe, maybe it's going to be the notion of the Marco Polo, the
Okay.
Captain
Morgan!
Morgan, and that there's something in there about the call and response. It didn't start that way, but once I think Jimmy came up with that thought as well,
Mm-hmm.
and then gave it to the teams, it was almost too easy and too obvious. And I like it. And I think it's sticky because it goes back to our childhood. It's something everybody's familiar with. Maybe it's not right for Captain Morgan, but some other brand that can adopt that Marco Polo call and response, and that it's the right moment, that it's the right fun thing. It's pretty sticky.
I like it. I like it. Um, and finally, to close us out, we have 2 minutes to win it, where I pause the show right after the pitch is given, and I have 2 minutes to make my own campaign for the brief. And let me tell you, this one was rough. I know we talked about how we weren't really inspired by the final concept for a lot of these campaigns, and part of that is because the brief was so challenging. And so to do it in 2 minutes without having really much brand or industry understanding was very hard.
All right,
Um,
let's see this hot disaster.
wow, I'm right
Let's do
here.
it.
All right. This campaign is called The Captain is Calling. Um, in late 2020 and 2021, sea shanties were very, very big on TikTok. So this would be a bit of a callback to an old campaign, but I think it could work. A Captain Morgan sea shanty of some sort where the captain is calling. I did a little bit of, after coming up with the campaign, I did a little bit of research into what is a sea shanty, why were they
Mm,
used. A
mm,
lot of times they were used to help coordinate work. So they're very
right.
rhythmic. Um, the rhythmic nature of the songs would be like hoisting a sail. If we all hoist at the same time, it makes the work a little bit easier. And so sea shanties allowed um, crews to work in tandem, heave
Right.
ho, but a little bit more fun. It was also great for culture building, commiserating about life on the sea. And then it also worked really great for multilingual crews. They could have a common language in these sea shanties.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so essentially, we would have the captain starting this sea shanty. Maybe they create a Captain Morgan branded sea shanty. We see that as a call to arms. Okay, it's time to get to work, but the work is partying and enjoying Captain Morgan via the sea shanties. And then I could see this campaign expanding through TikTok. We get some of the bigger sea shanty creators, hiring
Shanty
them as
Talk. I think it's called Shanty Talk.
shanty talk, get them involved, have them, hire them to create posts alongside this, um, to really push the campaign even further. The captain is calling Captain Morgan.
That's fun. That's fun. I like this. I would be surprised if they didn't do it when sea shanties were a big thing.
I would be
So
too,
I wonder if
to be
they've
quite
done it.
honest.
And I think if they were to do it for next year, it would be interesting to try and evolve it and make it, yeah, timeless is not quite the word, but evolved and continue to develop
Mhm.
on it instead of make it a throwback to a trending viral moment from a couple years ago.
Yeah,
But it does
exactly.
fit. It fits quite nicely. Fits quite well. I mean, maybe the shanty and the captain becomes their version of the colonel for KFC, who
Exactly.
in recent days is now played by lots of different actors and keeps getting reinvented.
Did
Yeah.
you know about my favorite brand activation that I've ever heard of in the whole wide world? I have no data to support this. It's just my favorite. KFC made in 2019 an online dating game, romance game where you're trying to date the colonel.
I did not hear about this one. That sounds hilarious.
Hilarious. So
Oh,
funny. I don't even care if it did poorly. I think it's the best brand activation I've ever heard of.
oh my God. A dating sim with the colonel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fantastic. One of the ones I loved from them was when they came out with the KFC limited store
Okay.
to celebrate their launch of the spicy chicken sandwich. They had merch, and I have a soft spot for merch, so they sold finger licking good necklaces and um, chicken bucket Hawaiian shirts and drumstick socks and cute things that you could get for 10 or 20
Mm-hmm.
bucks. And then on that same website where you could buy socks for 20 bucks, they had a $20,000 meteorite carved into the shape of their spicy chicken sandwich.
Amazing. I mean,
And
that's on every little girl's Christmas wish list this year.
well, when Daddy Warbucks shows up, yeah, you get a meteorite carved into the shape of a chicken sandwich. But it created a lot of buzz because the merch was cute, but also because of this crazy ass one singular individual product
Mm-hmm. The
that's again
absurdity.
sold right next to socks. Um, it was pretty cool. Pretty good idea.
I like it. I like
All
it.
right.
KFC has a lot of brand activations.
KFC is really leaning into their iconic assets.
Well, there's
And
also a great community episode.
mm-hmm,
And it's like a brand activation within the episode. They're interacting with this fake brand activation,
yeah,
within the community episode.
yeah. And I
Let's
think
all pay
this
attention to
meta,
KFC.
yeah, KFC's got a lot going on. There's kind of a meta idea. It's not quite a sharp campaign idea, but the idea of the kernel and the kernel doing things and the kernel trying things and the kernel launching new things. I'll bet it does actually go back to the roots of the company because Colonel Sanders was a failed businessman. As my understanding, he started KFC when he was in his 50s after at least a dozen failed companies and failed businesses. But he was an inventor. He was a guy who tried stuff out. And finally, he put 11 herbs and spices together into a winning combo in a white and white and red striped bucket and struck gold.
Amazing. So there's still hope for you yet, Ethan.
Yeah, there is hope. Hope springs eternal. Maybe when I hit 65, I'll figure out what makes me my millions.
Amazing. Amazing. Well,
Captain.
Morgan.
All right. We will resume our coverage of On Brand with Jimmy Fallon next time. Tune in for episode 6.
See y'all
Thank you,
next
Laura.
week. Bye.
So listen, brand science works best when it's a team sport. If you want your crew rowing in the same direction, call me to learn more about workshops, trainings, and talks, oh my, for your company. Head to appliedbrandscience.com to learn more. Oh, hey, you're still here? Good. Now that everyone else is gone, I want to let you know you just won a free Science AF sticker. To claim it, send an email to info@appliedbrandscience.com with your name, address, and shoe size, and we will mail it out to you. You're the best. Seriously.